Hi, 8th grade. So we're back again, and today we're going to work backwards from what we did the other day. Before, you had a graph. So remember last time we met, you had a graph like this, and you had to write the slope-intercept form from it. However, there's going to be some cases where you're given the slope-intercept form, and then you graph the line from it. That's the whole reason we have the slope-intercept form. So we can write this down as mathematicians and know exactly what line we should be talking about. So here are 4 different slope-intercept forms, and we're going to practice graphing them. All right, so the first thing hopefully you remember is that slope-intercept form is this, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to stick with you for your entire high school and middle school math career, okay? So if I look at this, what is my slope? Well, for this example, my slope is the number next to the x. It's positive 2. So I know this line is going up because it's a positive 2. And what's my y-intercept? Well, my b is the last number here, so my y-intercept is minus 4. So now let's use that to graph. So you always start with your y-intercept. So your y-intercept is negative 4. So that means I'm going to come to my y-axis, and I'm going to go down to negative 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and I'm going to put a dot. That's where it crosses the y-axis. And now I'm going to use my slope to help me draw the rest of the line. My slope is positive 2, which remember is the same as saying 2 over 1. So that means, since it's positive, I'm going to go up to 1, 2, and then over 1, 1. Up to 1, 2, over 1, 1. Up to 1, 2, over 1. So hopefully you can see how for each part I went up to 1, 2, and then over 1, right? Up to, over 1. So you could keep doing this forever and ever, and I could keep drawing the pattern going backwards, but really I just need enough points so I can draw the line. 4 points is plenty. Usually 3 is enough. So this is the line that goes with that equation. It's really cool. You can be just given a bunch of numbers and you know exactly what to graph. So let's try this one. I'll work in a different color so we don't get mixed up. Let's do what we did here. What's our slope first? Well, our slope, m, is this number next to the f, or next to the x. Sorry, too many videos this morning. So it's 1/2. And my y-intercept, my b, is this ending number right here, which is minus 1. So remember, you always start with the y-intercept. So I'm coming to the y-axis, and I'm going to put a dot on minus 1. My slope is positive, so it's going to go up just like this one. But it's going to look a little different, right? So my slope is up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. So let's do that. Up 1 over 2. 1, 2. Up 1 over 2. And you can see those 3 points are already enough to draw that line, right? It's just a sketch. So there's that line. And hopefully you're starting to see how the slope tells you the steepness. Here the slope was positive 2, and look how steep that is. Here the slope was only positive 1/2, so it's a lot flatter. The slope of 2 is much steeper than a slope of 1/2. Why? Because 2 is a larger number than 1/2. All right, let's go to number 3. I realized I didn't label this. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. Okay? Number 3 says y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. So what's my slope? My slope is the number next to the x, negative 2/3. So this is the opposite of these two in that it's a negative slope. So it's going to be going down. So I need to keep that in mind. And then my y-intercept is 5, positive 5. So let's start with the y-intercept. Let's go up to positive 5 on the y-axis and make a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. Now let's deal with my slope. It's negative, so I'm going to go, instead of going up 2, I'm going down 2 because the slope is down. But you still go over 3. So here's what I mean. If it's negative 2/3, you go down 2, 1, 2, but over 3, 1, 2, 3. So you should always go to the right. The negative just means down instead of up. Down 2, 1, 2, over 3. I'm already getting kind of off of the graph here of my coordinate plane, but you can see that that is the line. And yes, it's a negative slope. It's going down, that matches, right? So that's how you deal with a negative. Let's try one more. Y equals negative x plus 4. So I'm going to pause the video here and you tell me what the slope is and you tell me what the y-intercept is. Let's start with the easy one. The y-intercept is 4. Now the slope, there's no number here, it just says minus. What does that mean? So remember when we talked about, let me go back to that example from the other day. This one, when we wrote 1x plus 4, and you could rewrite that as x plus 4 because the 1 is implied and mathematicians take that out. The same thing is happening here, except hopefully you see that instead of taking they took the 1 out, but if I plug the 1 back in there, my slope would be minus 1. So that 1 was just simplified out. This is the same as saying y equals minus 1x plus 4, right? They just took the 1 out because that's called simplifying the equation. So now let's graph this. My y-intercept is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my slope is negative 1. So I have to go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Because remember, that's the same as saying minus 1 over 1. So now let's go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1, right? I could keep going, but that's enough to sketch the line. So I'm just going to do that. So there are my two lines. So now I ask you this question, which is steeper? The line that has a slope of negative 2/3 or the line that has a slope of negative 1? Which number is larger? Hopefully you know that 1 is larger than 2/3, and that's why that one's a little bit steeper than this. Okay, just a little bit. It's not too much because this is almost 1, right? You only need 1/3 more. So get some practice with this today. See you next time.